Yes.
So let's start with it.
So what I have a framework that I like to suggest. We can start with a specific challenge, and when I say challenge, I propose that there is a point A where you are right now, Martin, and you want to be in a point B. And we can try to specify this point A and point B, and then we can specify what are the blockers. What do you perceive right now as a blockers for you to go from A to B? And I like to suggest that there are some physically possible transformations, meaning some transformations to go from A to B are maybe more likely and more possible, and others are less likely and less possible. And what makes them possible is the right knowledge, how to do that. And when I say the right knowledge, where you might want to have more clarity.
Honestly, I'm in a very unique position where I communicated clearly what I expect out of each one of the working relations that I have in these projects. And they're both very supportive. So I have free creative reign for better.
What, sorry?
Free creative reign for better or worse. And that would definitely not be a challenge. The only challenge is the practical one, the physical world one, that you actually need to ship a fully fledged software that is dumb enough for a regular user to actually use, but sophisticated enough in the back end where no one really sees what you've done, but it just works. Okay, so this is currently the biggest challenge. I don't really see any challenges in terms of breaking daily. You can never ease your mind and actually start exploring the innovative things. And I feel, and maybe it's a fact as well, that on a day-to-day basis, this is only going to get amplified with AI. That the developers themselves will start to be less and less confident in their code bases. And it's either a shift in thinking that we need to start kind of accepting, or completely like just being miserable. Because if you create something that you've made from scratch on your own, it may have bugs, and you may know about the bugs, but you know about them, you know where they are. You might even know why they're there. It's just a matter of time before you get to fix them. But you are building something out of the Lego blocks on a base plate where you understand every single element. Now, when you throw AI into the mix, what happens is that you will have this thing that resembles a structure built on that base plate. But in reality, like, you don't know if you're able to take this piece out. And you might never know, because by the time you actually find out that there is a problem over here, there are layers upon layers of new bricks. And that's a bit scary, I'm not gonna lie. So once you're building something, especially if you're building it using AI, to get to the level of confidence with your base products that everything works, is secure, is somewhat feasible and usable, you'll keep iterating for a long time. And only then you can start building on top of that base.
How can, let's say, I understand that maybe, I guess it's much easier to have creative freedom when the team is smaller. How can you do anything you want in the second team?
Okay, it's not about the team size. It's absolutely not about that. It's about the architecture of the projects. And this is a thing that a lot of people are missing. If you make a modular enough project, you can allow creative freedom to any of your employees, because every single thing that they create is a plug and play. Whereas if you create a monolith, if you're creating something rigid and hard-coded, I'm not arguing the points. It might ship and get to the market faster. It might even be better and earn more money. But in reality, you're building one thing, and especially if you're building one big thing using AI, eventually it's going to fail, period. So from the get-go, approaching everything through SDKs, modularly, where everything has a typed contract, everything is plug and play. If you join the team tomorrow, you can have your creative freedom and create an extension that will be exactly this: mutual understanding of colleagues in a company using a conduit agent. Absolutely. Because it is meant to be like that. It is meant to be extendable. Today, everybody expects that their needs will be met exactly. So it's not about, like, let's say 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you came to a company such as this one, this cafe that we are in. They'll be like, okay, so we need a POS system. That's it. And we have Excel sheet in which we do inventory. Good enough. Now, if you come here, they'll be like, okay, we want custom ordering system per table. Then we want to have an agent that actually does the ordering for us. We need something to actually handle our social media, and ideally, like, wrap everything into one system.
Succeed, right? Is it therefore, because the complexity grew, is it therefore much harder to actually be explicit about formulating the challenge and also coordinate to agree that something is a challenge?
In software development, in my opinion, yes. We are entering very hazy era of, like, what even is the challenge? You feel, and everybody tells you there is no challenge, that coding is solved. And then you take a closer look and you realize that if it's solved and you are spending so much money, where are the results? Like, what did you actually ship? What is there that bears your mark? How well does it work? How does it sell?
So practically the challenge is there, right? It's not like...
I mean, in my opinion, it didn't change. It unlocked the doors for more people to be pseudo developers or juniors. If they understand the principles, they get to, let's say, a meteor level without ever writing a line of code. That is crazy. Like, how can you be a meteor mountain climber if you've never climbed a mountain? And suddenly something that was your passion for 10 years turns into a messy slop where you can't really keep up with the actual PRs, with the actual amount of submitted work. It's like having a freaking dog shelter and people will keep bringing you broccoli. And you're like, thank you, I like you, and absolutely, but what the fuck am I supposed to do with broccoli? Like, dogs don't want to eat it, I don't have time to cook it, and it's just piling up here.
Right.
So,
okay, so what you call slop is basically work done, but
slop churner.
What?
I'm the slop churner.
Slop churner.
Yeah,
What is it?
slop.
What does it mean, churns slop?
Well, since primarily I work with AI, it's more along the lines of
You reject.
AI do something, then you have to verify if the thing that it actually did is actually done, because it loves to gaslight. Then you have to run loops and circles to actually make sure that the piece that you're committing to the system doesn't destabilize it. But since you're coming from AI first perspective and not really reading every single line of code, it starts to bloat. So it's, I think you're familiar with the term tech debt.
Tech debt, yes.
Yeah. So I think we are very much entering the era of bloat or slop debt. We will be at time and place where duplicate functions and all of this, you will have a squeaky clean looking software which in reality is just a massive balloon waiting for a pop. Because in reality, it's not like any team member will go into my portion of code and start digging around. We're an AI first company. That doesn't happen anymore. And that brings the disconnect. Because it is absolutely feasible if you have a singular individual. You keep that context all the time. You can try to portion it to your AI. Yeah, of course. But in reality, unless you reduce it to one sentence, which not every project can be, and you can't really feed 80 pages of why we are doing something, how we're doing something, what are our ethics principles, etc. to AI on every turn. That would make it not good. But you can keep that easily. You can remind yourself of that. And 3 times a week, no problem. The entire team can. The disconnect is starting to happen because we are suddenly in a position where we can start processing multitudes more information and data through our seeming fingers. So something that would take you a day to produce is now reduced to 2 minutes. With less context, with less clarity. But I learned to not give a fuck anymore, man, because I already collapsed from work-related stress once. So
Right.
So never again. Normally during a stand-up in a different project that I was a part of, sometime in that project, during that period of time, we literally went through what changes did you do to this file and why did you do it? And how does that reflect towards our overall architecture of the project? Now when we meet, we actually think about the entire epics. Why did you do this epic? Something that would take a team of developers, let's say a week, is something that we discuss as an event that happened from Monday to Wednesday. And that's the kind of scary part. That's the fucked up part. Because you just abstract, you go levels and levels higher in terms of the overview of what you are discussing and where do you need to have the clarity. So it's more of an abstract clarity. You're moving from the clarity of why is this cup on this table to does it even does it make sense for us to have a table here in the first place?
Yeah.
So you're just taking it up and up and up and up and up. And it's effectively the same discussion that you normally have with the software architect or PM. Again, from the coding perspective. The discussion that you have with a software architect or PM before the project even starts is now 3 times a week during an active development. To a certain degree, yeah. But from the practical standpoint, both projects have opinionated leader. So someone to step in and say, it's cool that there is a table, I want 3 cups there and one tray as the base. And once we have that, we move on. So yeah, you have creative freedom. You can place anything you want on the table. You can still do that. There's no problem. But in order to actually churn and move forward, you have to have an opinionated leader that knows how a good product from their perspective looks at the end. So you might have a platform and you create a platform to support multiple endpoints and multiple endings of the same story. But you need to have someone with a vision of the first one. And you build towards that. And you go from, it's kind of a flipped scenario. You don't, a project doesn't start from a singular idea. Especially a consumer grade, the vibe coding loop forever. And I've seen this happen, and I've tried to pull a couple of people out of that loop, and it's really hard because you like without it
Which
needs
loop, sorry?
vibe coding loop.
Vibe coding loop.
Like you will just keep vibe coding, keep burning credits, never ship anything. Nothing will be finished. That's a real thing. It's happening every day. So you need to have like a very opinionated vision of when it is enough, and you need to shift your attention towards actually selling the thing. So yeah. And this is a pitfall that, myself included, a lot of the people who never shipped anything before kind of fall into. It's like you kind of want to always keep improving. It's the engineering mindset. It's like, oh, it can be better. The images can be better. It can be more polished. It can have more themes. It can have this. It can have that. Like suddenly it becomes possible with AI, and like, oh my God, you can do so much. But should you? Is the question.
Right.
Everybody's asking if they could, but no one's asking if they should.